be now read a second time. I'll give the call to the honourable member for Goldstein.
Well, thank you, Deputy Speaker. I remain deeply impressed that for such a simple, straightforward bill, the former member speaking found 21 minutes of diatribe to throw in it and deliver to the parliament, including, of course, long discussions about Labor Party plans should they come to government. But, of course, he didn't mention one of the most critical factors of any Labor government plan, which is how it is that they tax us into prosperity. And in fact, when we're talking about issues like innovation, there's been a constant criticism by those on the opposite side of this chamber from the government's approach to address one of the biggest challenges that our country and, of course, the global community faces in the space of climate change policy, where we have a focus on technology, not taxes. Their approach has consistently been to talk up technology but to impose taxes, because somehow they see innovation as a vehicle or as achieved by adding to the burden of those that want to invest and innovate in our country to create or utilise technology towards a better future. Now, that, of course, is not what this bill is about, because it is a coalition proposition. It's a coalition proposition focused on how we empower technology and the innovators to help improve the state of our nation, and, of course, not just the state of our nation and the power of technology, but more critically how it can improve the course of humanity, because we want Australian designers not just to be world best, well, not just Australia best, but world best, and of course to be able to commercialise the efforts of their innovation, to make the investments so that they can improve future for all of us, and of course take new ideas and new innovations through to practical effect, development, and of course then make commercial in the marketplace. And this bill seeks to implement recommendations from an Advisory Council on Intellectual Property report to clarify and simplify the design system and provide more flexibility for designers. And that's of critical importance, Deputy Speaker, because when you have a lot of people who operate in the space of design, truthfully, a lot of their skill isn't focused on IP law. A lot of their focus isn't on actually the commercialisation of their innovations. Their focus is on how they come up with the nucleus and the core of their designs and how they're able to use it for industrial purposes, for societal purposes, for environmental purposes, and the like. And of course, the practical dimensions of it, and particularly the legal arrangements that operate around intellectual property, frankly, bamboozle the best of us at times, because of the complexity of the law, the long tradition, how it's evolved out of various international treaties, and the challenge for law to continue to meet up and follow the pace of technological innovation and advancement. And so this bill delivers timely benefits for Australian designers and improves confidence and certainty to stimulate investment in design innovation by making sure that our designers know that the law backs them. It provides pathways for them to secure capital, and then, of course, to be able to innovate, knowing that if they come up with an idea or a design that has a practical benefit, that it can make a significant contribution to all of us. And already design industries contribute around $68 billion a year to the Australian economy, and that's 3.5% of GDP. So we're not just talking small bickies. We're talking, in comparison to the Australian economy, it's big bickies in the context of the Australian economy. And of course, more critically, what it does is harnesses the potential of creativity at the heart of our economy so that we can have an innovative nation. And I know the member who spoke previously spoke specifically about the importance of innovation, and you saw measures related to that in the most recent budget and in budgets throughout the entire Morrison government, because our interest is always what we need to do to back that degree of research and development and of creative industries. It's one of the reasons why there were such strong support measures throughout the pandemic for creative industries, because we realise that they play a critical part in terms of the development of Australian GDP, a critical part in terms of employing Australians, a critical part of the conversation around the type of country, not just that we have been in the past, the present, but what we want for the future. But also that we want our innovation. We want innovation to be the core of the future of our country. Some people speak derisively of traditional industries like primary industries such as agriculture and mining, and people make absurd comments like, "Oh, all Australia is a quarry and a farm." Well, I'd hate to break it to people. It's those industries that create the wealth that can support the industries of the future. And what we see is a continuum in our economy that continues to prosper and grow off the natural endowments that we are very privileged to have inherited, but more critically, that how we can harness that so that we can build new industries for the future that harness the power not just of physical humanity, but of course its intellectual capacity too. And where countries do that and where economies do that, they lift all boats and build a better future for everybody. And this legislation is but one part of the rich legislative tapestry necessary to help designers realise the benefits of their innovation, remove burdensome red tape and obligations and administrative function or obligations that are needless in terms of making it possible for people to be able to register their designs and then be able to commercialise them in the process, particularly around such matters as the publication of design applications without registration. And of course, it will make requests for registration automatic after 6 months unless the designer indicates otherwise. So we're providing that pathway, we're providing assistance, and we're making it more possible for designers to be able to reap the benefits of their innovation and design. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.